I'm Whitney.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Deb.
We're three best friends who love nerdy things.
Well, some people think we're nerdy, but we think we're pretty awesome.
This is Our Nerdiest Thing.
Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to Our Nerdiest Thing. Today, we're going to be talking about doing Am I the Asshole of some of our favorite book scenes. I didn't know how to say that until it was coming out of my mouth. So welcome, friends. And before we get into it, Deb, will you please share our nerdy news?
Of course. I feel
You like the way I'm saying that?
I feel like you're trying to be a Disney character.
I don't have to try. That's just
right.
me, baby.
The mice just follow you around. Don't
Oh,
they?
yeah. That's what everyone says about me. I'm a regular Snow White.
Okay, so the first book we want to talk about that's releasing this week is Mate. And it is the second book in the Bride series by Ali Hazelwood. In true fashion with series, I do not talk about the synopsis because I don't want to spoil anything from the first book. But we do know this is vampires and werewolves, and it was good, not clean fun.
And it was good.
So the next book we have is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, who we know from Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is her adult debut novel where a woman hunts down a local man from folklore who can tell you the exact time of your death.
Ooh.
When he reveals to her that she's going to die at midnight the following day, he explains that she can save herself by finding an ancient item called the alchemical heart. How do you say that? Alchemical heart? Alchemical heart?
That sounds good.
Yeah, sure. And then we also have a new book by Harper L Woods dropping this week. It is The Damned, which is book 3 in the Coven of Bones series. The cliffhanger in book 1 of this series had me by the balls, so you do need to go read it. And book 2 is already out, so you won't have to wait like I did. No spoilers for the new synopsis, but very, very good series. It's about witches and things from hell and all kinds of cool stuff.
Very good spooky season book.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. Speaking of spooky season, we have a new horror book coming out this week from Catroina Ward called Nowhere Burning. And this author tends to scare the bejesus out of me. So, I'm pumped about the book. It follows siblings who run away to a ranch called Nowhere that houses feral children, where adults are not allowed, and something that asks for a terrible cost in exchange for sanctuary.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. If you haven't read anything by Catroina Ward, I recommend Sundial.
Okay.
It scared me a lot. The pacing was a little bit slow in the middle, but it was, if you like horror, it's a really, really good book. So this book reminds me a little bit. So Nowhere Ranch is actually where a washed up movie star lived. And it reminds me a little bit of, was it Jeffrey Dahmer that had all the kids living in the house out in the, who was that?
No.
Because it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Who killed Sharon Tate?
Manson?
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that, which
Yeah.
sounds really, really captivating to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So there's 2 other books I want to talk about that have come out this week. The next one is The Second Story Bookshop by Denise Hunter. This is a second chance romance, which is one of my favorite tropes. It's about a woman who inherits a bookshop that she helped her grandmother establish, but the caveat is that she has to run it with her ex.
Oh, no.
Grandma, how dare you?
I wonder how it's going to go.
And finally, The Hearth Witch's Guide to Magic and Murder by Kiri Callagan. This book is about when supernatural crimes lead to an almost exposure of the Fey world. A changeling who has been imprisoned for 200 years is given probationary freedom in order to solve the case. Problem is, because they haven't been around for 200 years, they have no social skills or world knowledge. Reminds me of Castiel.
Yeah.
So he pairs up with a human who's lost faith in humanity and is thrilled to learn that magic exists.
Oh, nice.
that sounds cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
that was on your list, so I
Was
hope
it?
it sounds cool.
I was going to say, no wonder.
I got it off your Goodreads TBR. You're like, wow, I should go add that.
No wonder it sounds so good.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so a lot of, actually all of this it's all spooky season.
Yeah, it's all spooky season.
Which, you
That's
know,
great.
it is
sense.
October.
Yeah.
That does
Can't
make
wait.
sense.
It's perfect. Well, that brings us to the nerdy and dirty, and I can start us off with what we're reading because I'm probably reading something very different from either of you. It's a memoir. Actually just finished it. It's called The Woman They Wanted by Shannon Harris. So Shannon Harris joined an evangelical church as a young adult, and she was married to Joshua Harris, who, if you grew up in like a Southern Baptist or like conservative evangelical church in the late 90s, early 2000s, you have heard of Joshua Harris. He was a very popular conservative speaker and author who
Always are.
He wrote a book called I Kissed Dating Goodbye that really just like blew up in the evangelical world. And it was used by a lot of church families to sort of like dictate how they approached relationships and dating for their kids. Like that book is all about like, we're not going to date, we're going to court. We're going to wait until we find like a person you want to marry. It was a big thing. Like I
So purity
grew up
culture.
with 100% purity culture. So
thank you.
Shannon Harris was married to him, and they are no longer married, and they are no longer really involved with
I'm
church.
shocked, I tell you.
I know, right? So this is a very niche memoir, right?
Yeah.
Like if you are like me and grew up in that kind of environment, I didn't grow up in like nothing like what she describes in this book, but I'm very aware of purity culture and grew
Right.
up with like true love waits stuff.
I
and
mean,
all that.
anyone that was in the evangelical church in the 90s knows about purity culture.
Knows
Even
something,
in the
right.
2000s. I
Yeah,
mean, shit,
for
it's
sure.
still happening.
Yeah, 100%. So, well, okay. So this memoir is really all about her and her experience. And it's not so much her experience being married to Josh, but just a woman being married to a leader in this particular type of evangelical church, right? So she focuses very heavily on the expectations that were communicated to her as a wife of a leader in the church, the difficulty that she had meeting those expectations, and then the series of events that led to her leaving the church, or at least that kind of church.
Well, because the same expectations weren't put on her husband, I'm sure.
1000%.
Right.
Yes. And she talks about that too. And also she talks about the events that led to her divorce, but she really doesn't talk a ton about him. It's really very much like, this is me. This is what I felt. This is what was communicated to me, or at least how I understood it to be
Do you
communicated to
think
me.
she has like a non-disclosure agreement or something since they have the book?
I don't think she does, but I think that I get the impression that it's probably important to her to help her kids maintain a good relationship with him.
Okay, yeah. I can respect that.
She doesn't say that, but that's kind of the vibe that I get.
Well,
you know?
also, I can see her wanting to show herself as separate from him and like
Yeah.
stand on her own, and this is her story and not his, right?
Yes, I
So
think
can
that's definitely
see
part
that.
of it too. And I think too, she still has a relationship to church, Christianity, religion, and I think that she is trying to be respectful of
Right.
that to
Yeah.
herself and also to other
sure.
people too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very much, she's not spilling all the tea,
Right.
as the young folks say, but she is talking about a lot of things that you will relate to if you grew up
Right.
in that kind of environment, right? So
Interesting.
again, it's pretty niche, but I really enjoyed it a lot. If that's not something that you relate to, then I wouldn't pick this book up because you just won't connect with it. One thing that was super interesting is she talks a lot about the leader of the church that was like her husband's boss, basically, and a lot of the problems that she personally had with him and things that she disagreed with. And this man actually is currently a senior pastor at a church right here in our city.
The problematic person? Great.
Isn't that interesting?
Again, I'm
A
shocked, I
lot-
tell you.
A lot of, because she said something in her book and I was like, wait a second. And I did a little bit of Googling, and there are several people that she talks about in this book that are in leadership at this church right here in the city in which we live. That I just read and I really enjoyed it. So, read it if you want to. If it will be triggering
floats
for
your
you.
boat.
Yeah. If that doesn't float your boat, then,
Mine
read
doesn't-
some smut instead.
Mine doesn't have anything to do with like religious trauma that you're talking about, but it does have to do with trauma of relationships.
Okay.
I was just trying to segue.
That's a good segue. I liked it.
Yeah. So
Tell me more.
I just got done reading Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews, who wrote Don't Let the Forest In last year, which was one of mine and Mindy's favorite books last year. Hazelthorn will be in my top 5 this year, but I don't think anything can beat Don't Let the Forest
Yeah.
In. I was just so captivated by that book. Hazelthorn is about a sick kid, I think he's 16, who has been like sequestered away in his guardian's house. So he doesn't have any memories from before he was 12 years old, and he's sick all the time, and he like is kept in this room, right?
Yeah.
And so the guardian dies, leaving the entire estate to him.
Oh.
On top of that, the guardian has a nephew who comes to stay at the estate that tried to kill this kid a few years ago.
Oh,
Okay.
my.
So that now the only two people on the estate are him and this kid that tried to kill him. And then the family starts closing in because this estate is worth millions and millions of dollars. So it was beautifully written. I mean, just like the other book is, I was captivated on the edge of my seat the entire time because you have like no fucking idea what's going on in a good way.
Yeah.
Just like Don't Let the Forest In. One of my favorite, and I'm not going to quote it verbatim because like you're not really supposed to do that when you have an arc, but he essentially says, I don't know how God created Adam and didn't fall in love with him. And that like really stuck with me in like an MM type of sense.
Right.
Yeah. I just, because like, you know, the human body is so beautiful, and how can you know, and so I would recommend it. It comes out later this month, and I will probably harp on it over and over and over again. Now, technically, this book and Don't Let the Forest In are YA. They're pretty
intense. Yeah.
This one's way more gory than Don't Let the Forest In. Next year, C.G. Drews has an adult book coming out. So I'm going to see how much more they can terrify me. I wouldn't say the books are terrifying. There's a lot of body gore. And I know that bothers some people, but I find it fascinating.
Well, an adult book might be terrifying, though.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
I have been so like enthralled with this person, and I write them every time I'm like reading something, and they're like, "Thank you so much." And
I really liked it.
their social media is really interesting because they are autistic, and their whole goal was to have a big following without ever showing their face. And they have achieved that and like written all these amazing books because they're just not comfortable with that.
Sure.
And I love that they like put this hard line in the sand and have still been very successful.
That's like Ember Nicole. Like she just wears a LED mask and doesn't show her face. And I've been to events with her, and she wears the mask and doesn't show her face.
The only thing CG Drew shows is their arm and hand. That's it.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That's really cool.
I like that when authors are like, this is all you get.
This is my boundary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Mindy, what have you been reading?
I am also reading something scary. And it's also an arc by someone I've read before. So I just finished Spider to the Fly by J.H. Markert. I read Sleep Tight by this author last year and really enjoyed it. This one was a weird one for me because normally if it wasn't an arc, I probably might. I'm very reluctant to DNF stuff, but I might have almost DNF'd this because it was so confusing to me. There was a lot of characters. There was a lot of just... I don't know if it was because I was tired, because it was in a time where I was like not getting a whole much of sleep. So I would like not get to read in big chunks. So anyway, it took about 60% for me to get into it.
Can I say something? Because I was thinking about when you were talking about this, because the title really stuck out to me. A couple of years ago, I arc read Mr. Lullaby by J.H. Markert and loved it until the last 2 pages because it just stops. It just stops. And I remember being so pissed off. And oddly enough, a couple weeks ago, I was in Barnes & Noble because I was like, I wonder if that was just the arc, right? Because sometimes you'll get... And it wasn't. It does that. So I went and looked it up. I was like, is there another book in the Mr. Lullaby series? And Sleep Tight is the sequel.
Sleep Tight or Spider to the Fly?
No, Sleep Tight is, but I know that you've read that.
Interesting. Yes. I did not realize that was it. Definitely stands alone. I enjoyed Sleep Tight.
Right. But I wonder if this is going to be a part of that same universe, and that's why it doesn't
I don't think so. It's
okay.
I don't know, unless it's part of the Mr. Lullaby universe. It's not part of the Sleep Tight universe.
So there's it says the series follows the Nightmare Man and Mr. Lullaby. Both Sleep Tight and Mr. Lullaby do.
It sounds like episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark that would have given me nightmares, you know?
I mean, Mr. Lullaby was one of the best horror books I've read in a long time until the end.
This one's more suspense horror than it is body horror. It's actually, okay, so let me tell you a little bit about it. It is a woman who becomes, so there's a serial killer, and he's called the Spider, and he is killing these young women that seem to have been in the foster system. And so this other woman who had been in the foster system, one of the victims shows up and her daughter sees it and says, "Mom, is that you?" It was like seeing her twin. So one of the victims looked just like her. So she gets very involved in this serial killer. She creates a website called the Spider Web, and it's like trying to figure out, because some of them are Jane Doe's, trying to figure out if people know who these people are. She becomes like pretty famous for this. And then the local law enforcement find like the 29th victim and reluctantly ask for her help with it. So it sort of follows that, but there's all these people. It's like I said, it took me about 60% to get into it, which
that's a long time.
It is a long time, which I'm saying, I'm not sure I would have stuck with it, but I will say the last 40% was amazing.
Yeah.
So like I think I gave it 4 stars because like the first 60% was like 3 stars, but the last bit was 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's there's twists and turns on top of twists and turns. I really, really liked the ending.
It's one of those like trust the process books.
I wonder if it is the same serial killer from Mr. Lullaby, because that is one of the big things that did not get wrapped up.
Interesting. I'd love to see. I need to read Mr. Lullaby then, because I want to see if there's anything
like connections.
It. Yeah. They don't mention it. They don't mention a Mr. Lullaby or anything. It doesn't connect. It all connects.
Mr. Lullaby isn't the serial killer. That's a supernatural creature.
Oh, there's no supernatural in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like it would scare me.
It's definitely, it messes with your mind a little bit.
Well, that brings us into what we're watching, and mine is like the most random thing ever, and also was almost my nerdiest thing of the week. So when I was a kid, I watched this movie on like Lifetime. And for whatever reason, it really stuck with me. I very vividly remember like a couple of scenes, and every so often, for like, this is like a years long mystery for me. Okay. Every so often I would just like randomly think about one of those scenes in this movie and be like, what was that? And I would like Google and try to figure it out and try to find it, whatever. So a couple of nights ago, I don't know what made me think of it, but I saw something and was like, oh yeah, what's this movie? So I did much more, I guess, skilled Googling and found out what this movie was. It was a made-for-TV movie called Victim of Beauty, and it's on Netflix.
I was going to ask if it was on Lifetime.
It's on Netflix. I think I saw it on Lifetime, but now it's on Netflix. So this was like a super made-for-TV movie. It's based on a true story. It's a dramatized true crime, basically.
This isn't the one with Tori Spelling in it,
no,
is it?
No.
Okay.
This is about a young girl who was abducted and killed, and her family is trying to figure out what happened. And the movie very much focuses on like her sister, and the killer, before they find the sister's body or before they find the person that did it, he calls them a lot and like not necessarily taunts them, but he'll just like say weird things on the phone and like not give them any information. Right. And so I very vividly remember one of the scenes where he's talking to them on the phone. I very vividly remember the scene where they realize the sister is missing because she pulls up to their mailbox in the front of the house, and then when the sister looks a few minutes later, her car's there, the door's open, the sister's gone. Like, I remember this. I've remembered it for years. Well, it's on Netflix.
Does it hold up?
I think I just figured out where your anxiety started.
I know, right? I would watch stuff like this. Yeah. It is very much a made for TV movie from the like early to mid 90s.
Okay.
You know, like, but I really still enjoyed it because
there's the nostalgia factor.
Yes.
I feel like I can picture exactly what the house looks like. It's got like a tan mailbox that's like with brick, and then like it's a brick and siding house. It's like the true like 90s like bi-level.
Probably. Although I don't know if you see the outside of the house as much as you see the inside of the house. But yeah, it's what's her name? She was on Star Trek. Jerry Ryan. Mm-hmm. She's the main character. She's the sister.
Fun fact, my husband went to high school with her.
Really?
Yes. That's not her original name.
Random.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. Jerry Ryan is just like too perfect of an actress's name to be. That is so funny.
That's my husband's claim to fame.
This is literally a years long mystery. I would randomly be like, what is that movie? And could not figure it out. So thank you, Google, and thank you, Netflix, and thank you, Jerry Ryan. Mindy, what have you been watching?
So I binge watched again with my daughter because we decided we were going to watch it together. This show called Destination X on Peacock.
What's that?
Oh.
So it's a game show-ish.
Question mark?
I know, question mark. I'm not sure how to. So if you've ever watched The Mole.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
it's very similar to that. Only you're not trying to find out who the mole is. They basically travel in this blacked out bus. and they get dropped off in a destination and they only get a few clues and they only get to see some of it, and some
Sounds
people
like my hell.
and then they have to guess where they are. It's hosted by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is amazing. It's only like
I love it already.
8 or 10.
Is it
episodes.
new?
It's new. It just finished the
He
season.
went from Walking Dead to a TV show?
Yeah, but he's
interesting.
almost like the villain too. Like he's not really a villain. Like they love him, but he comes in and it's always bad news, right?
Right, yeah.
But
It's like on Survivor.
Was very interesting. First of all, I learned a lot about Europe, but it was cool to see. It's the best thing about those kinds of shows for me is the social interaction and sort of like the human element of how to play the game and how you play it or whatever. So
I don't ever want someone to see what you guys don't even see with how intense
with your
with how
competitiveness.
competitive I get. They would be like, "Oh my god, she is the worst person on the planet."
The villain of the season.
I don't mean what I say, but I also kind of mean what I say.
I mean,
Like I wouldn't say it in a different context.
Setting, yeah.
You're just getting exactly what I'm thinking, and most of the time,
there's always someone, at least one in those shows that will
It's good TV.
literally do anything to win.
So my hard stop. I remember we were watching Survivor one time, and it was one of those. No, it wasn't Survivor. It was something else. What was the one where it like went all over the world and like you had
Amazing Race.
Yes, thank you. We were watching Amazing Race, and this team had to like paraglide off like this huge bridge, and they could get immunity, and he couldn't do it, and they got kicked out of the game. And they had been like, it was this really nerdy guy and this really nerdy girl, and like they like were having so much fun together, and they were so cute to watch, and he's like, I can't do it. And I remember looking at my husband and being like, that would have been my hard stop.
Yeah.
I can't jump off shit. I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, literally the fear of falling, because you are
Yeah,
falling.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And the girl did it
Cross
and
your
had like a
fingers.
fucking blast.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I would have lost us $1 million. But then the rest, I would have been in therapy the rest of my life about it. So I would have
Yeah.
been so mad at myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, You probably would have been in therapy if you had done it.
Never trust again.
Yeah.
Also, my little glider thing wouldn't have opened and I would have died. So,
I don't like that thought.
I wonder if Brian and Harper would love that show, knowing how much they love Amazing Race and Survivor.
If they like that, or if you like The Mole, I think that they would like Destination.
that
X.
sounds
It's very
like
cool.
it. Deb, what have you been watching?
So I watched, in preparation of 28 Years Later that came out, I watched 28 Weeks Later as well. So I watched both. So the first movie, 28 Days Later,
Yeah.
came out in the early 2000s, and that's where I've met Cillian Murphy. It was like his first big role. He was like really good in that. And it's very Walking Dead, if you guys don't know what this is. And then 28 Weeks Later is obviously 28 weeks after that. So 28 Days Later is based on, it's in the UK, so they're all on an island, and the zombies without humans will starve in 28 days, right? So then 28 weeks later is that the infection has spread off the island, right?
Great.
Right.
Yay.
And so like Brian and I watched that together, and then we went and watched 28 years. So there's 28 days, weeks, and years, right? So the end of 28 weeks later ends like with this kid that's going to be able, he like has like the gene that's going to solve the problem. And then 28 years later opens, and like the kid's not there, has nothing to do with him, like nothing's going on. So we found out when we looked it up that that middle movie is not canon. It was made by someone else.
What?
Oh.
And I was like, why did you guys do that?
So 28 weeks later, like, technically doesn't exist in
Right,
the world
right,
of the movies.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Interesting.
And so 28 years later,
Yeah.
who has, who's the, and I don't want to say this,
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
no,
Okay.
no, he is in that, and
Oh, okay.
he's really nice looking. But who is the person that shall not be named? And I'm not going to name that book series because the author's horrible. Who? Ralph Fiennes.
Oh.
He
I was like,
plays,
Voldemort?
Essentially, yeah.
So he is in the movie and is like so creepy, but ends
He's
up being
such a good villain.
Yeah, but ends up being like this really amazing character. And you keep hearing about this one side character, and then at the end they show up, and stylistically it's completely different than the rest of the movie. It was just like fucking ruined the movie for me. And it's
that sucks.
because like canonically it's following where the first movie was going.
Right.
Right.
But I'm like, why did you come in and make this look completely different than anything else? This makes
Right.
no sense to me. So I don't know if I'm going to watch the next one. And I like zombie movies a lot. But I mean, I remember 28 Days Later freaked me out because it's so much about, it's the same thing as The Walking Dead. Like something's always chasing you.
Yeah.
Right.
And they've run in 28 Days Later, don't they?
Yes, they do.
At least in The Walking Dead, they're kind of slow.
In 28 years later, there are what are called alpha zombies, and they're ones that have become smarter.
No, thank you. That's like I Am Legend.
Very much so. Yeah.
No, I'm out.
I have a lot of problems with that movie too, and book. So that could be a whole episode.
A whole other podcast. Well, let's go into what we are listening to. Mindy, what are you listening to right now?
All I'm listening to this week is my grown-ass kids whining. I mean, I really am not listening to anything else, and I feel
if
like
you put your headphones in, you wouldn't have to listen to them.
You're probably right.
Fair enough.
I swear, one of them's moving out, the other one's trying to go back to school, and I'm like, you are adults, like 19 and 21. Why are you asking
Get out of here.
these questions? You grew up in the age of Google. Go Google
That's the
that
truth.
shit.
Start sending them.
I know, I need to.
I'll Google this for you.
But it's not even just that. It's like, one of them will come home from work and complain about work. And I'm like, well, go get another job. Like, and the other one's like, and this one I do feel bad. Like, she's experiencing panic attacks. She's always had anxiety. But I'm like, go to the doctor and get some medicine. And, it's like, I can't do that with them anymore.
Help me help you.
Yeah.
Help me help you.
It all ends with HEA. She did. And she has medicine now. So.
HEA for anxiety.
But like at the time I was like, do something about it. Like, why are you all sitting here whining when you can
Don't
be
just
proactive?
wallow.
We had an instance where one of my kids wasn't taking their medication, and like I couldn't figure out what was going on that day, and finally it like dawned on them that they had forgotten several days. And I was not upset that they were having a bad day. I was upset because they were not using the tools that were available to them.
Exactly.
And I'm like, we have worked really hard to get you this tool, and you are not using your tool.
Right.
Like, come on. I cannot shove that medicine down your throat.
Right.
I mean, I can, but then I'm going to be in jail.
It's like this struggle is preventable.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's where my frustration came.
Our frustration too is we grew up in a generation where those struggles weren't preventable, right? And so we're like, you have all these things that you can do, like please do them.
Yeah.
Or like we didn't realize we had anxiety until we were adults.
Yeah. I was 34 before I went on.
Right.
I was 36.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, if you only knew. Back in my day. Well, I am listening to something. I am still listening to Throne of Glass.
Me too.
I started Kingdom of Ash. It's going to take me who knows how long to get through Kingdom of Ash. But I love the series. I love Kingdom of Ash specifically. I forgot, spoiler alert, I forgot how long it takes them to like look and find Aelin in Kingdom of Ash.
When
It's
they
like, oh my
find
gosh.
her, it's like, for me personally as a reader, one of the most heartbreaking
I
moments
cried.
in literature.
Yeah.
Like that book made me cry more than any other book has.
1000%. Yeah. Which is part of the reason why it's going to take me so long, because I'm going to have to
You have to be in the
stop.
right headspace.
Yeah. Like get to a really emotional scene and then like take a break for a little bit, then go back into it, that kind of deal. And I'm not listening to this as the time of recording, but by the time this releases, Taylor Swift's new album will be out. So I will be listening to The Life of a Showgirl by the time you're listening to this episode. So.
That's right. When does it technically come out?
October 3rd.
Okay, cool.
Friday, October 3rd. Hey.
I'm sure I will know when it releases, even though I'm not a Swiftie.
Pretty sure the whole world will know.
I'm not a Swiftie, but I really respect what she does. I think she is
Same.
very smart.
She's got good business and branding.
She does, and she makes a statement without being an asshole,
Yes.
which honestly for me is difficult to do. I mean, it is, right? And so statements don't have to be loud. They just need to be significant.
Yeah.
And what did she say? Like, you have your personal time, use your personal time as a luxury. What'd she say?
If like your time and your energy is a luxury item and not everyone can afford it.
Right.
And I was like,
and I love
that's
that.
a
I feel
word.
Like every woman on the planet was like, praise.
Yes,
Yeah,
seriously. It's like, that was deep.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add. I'm also still listening to Throne of Glass. So.
Well, let's go into our nerdiest topic. So here's my first one. Am I the asshole for trying to keep our meal farm to table? I was part of a small party at a destination wedding in Italy. Our first full day there, I went to the market, found a local vendor selling their locally brewed alcohol, and I bought a couple of bottles to serve with the welcome dinner. I figured we're in this beautiful city, known for its cuisine. Why not take advantage of that with the drinks as well? I shared the liquor with almost everyone at the party. We were all having a great time in a beautiful location. After about an hour or so, though, it became like The Exorcist. One by one, everyone who had taken a shot with me started throwing up. At the table, in the bushes, on the way to their rooms, and all over the bathrooms. We had to call an Italian doctor to bring us medicine. It was pretty horrible. We were sick and then weak for a couple of days, and apparently it was because of the liquor I provided. I didn't even know you could get food poisoning from liquor, but here we are. Everyone was miserable, but is it really fair to blame me? I got sick too. And they are all food scientists, not me. If it were risky, shouldn't they have said something about it?
Do you know what it is, Mindy? I do.
I do too. It was Problematic Summer Romance.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a
one's
really good
That was
one.
such a great
And
scene too.
I love
like that
that
scene a
you
lot.
put in that they're all food scientists. You're right.
They should have known.
I love it.
They all should
great.
have known better. This one, I think if anybody's going to guess it, Mindy would probably be the
Okay.
one to guess this one. Am I the asshole for not telling my one night stand I was a virgin? I've had a crush on this man for years, and when I realized he was flirting back with me one night, I did not waste my opportunity. He invited me back to his place, we made out, he pressed me up against the wall, and it was hot. I wanted to lose my virginity, and I wanted to lose it to him, but somehow he realized at some point during sex that this was my first time, and afterward he was very upset with me. He asked me if I was a virgin, so I told him the truth. He was upset and felt like he had a right to know, but why? Isn't it my body and my virginity to decide what to do with? If I wanted to have sex, and so did he, why does it matter if it's my first time or my 101st time? Isn't that like the core of feminism?
Yours are great. What are you talking about?
I felt
That's
like
definitely
they were-
L. Kennedy. No.
No, because I
not
would have known
Kennedy.
that, and you said I won't know, right?
I don't think
Why
you've read
don't I
this.
know that?
I don't think you've read this book. This is On Midnight Shores
Oh, duh.
by
Julie Olivia.
Olivia.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm glad you guys think these are good then. Okay, good. I've been very self-conscious about it. So here's my last one. Am I the asshole for not telling my best friend I've been sleeping with her boyfriend's best friend? My best friend has been with her boyfriend for a while now. They're super in love, blah, blah. That's great. I've been single after a long and dramatic on again, off again, but I've been sleeping with her boyfriend's best friend. I didn't say anything to her or anyone because it wasn't serious and because he is the biggest fuckboy and it was embarrassing. I didn't want anyone to judge me, but the more I got to know him and the more I liked him, I didn't want anyone to judge him because fuckboy is really not who he is. My best friend is also my roommate. She found out we've been sneaking around when my crappy ex showed up at our apartment screaming at me for being a whore, even though we were broken up when I started hooking up with this other guy. It was horrible. My ex said awful things that upset me so much. I asked my best friend to call her boyfriend's best friend, the guy I've been sleeping with. And that's how she found out. A very upsetting situation that turned even more dramatic because I asked for him and confused the crap out of my best friend. Now she's upset I didn't tell her and feels like I don't trust her. Am I really the asshole?
That's L. Kennedy.
That's the
Is
score.
that Dean
No,
De
the score.
Laurentiis?
Yeah.
Which one? The score?
The score.
The score.
Yeah.
Allie,
Oh, man.
Allie and Dean.
Oh, man.
I love that scene so much.
That fucking reel that L. Kennedy released, like introducing the
no.
guys.
I feel neutral about both of the Johns on
Dean?
No.
No, I'm saying Dean for
No,
me.
I know, but-
I got pregnant.
Those four, all the four guys. I feel neutral about the Johns, but I really enjoyed Dean and Garrett.
Oh, yeah.
I felt strongly
They say
about those.
I felt a lot of things strongly. They saved the best for last
Yeah,
on
they
that
did.
one.
Yeah, that
because
was
I
good.
just happened to come across it, and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying Dean and Garrett.
I've definitely watched it more than I should.
I was online at the time messaging the Trope Trollop about it, and I said something like, "I kind of wish no one was home right now."
All right, those were my three. Who wants to go next?
Mindy, why don't you go?
Am I the asshole for getting mad at my therapist for trying to help me, then demanding she fly with me everywhere? I, 28 male, am a professional hockey goalie. I'm a bit of a loner and a perfectionist, so I like to do things my way. This has worked out for me so far, but recently a new therapist, 26 female, joined our team. I've had a chronic injury for a while that no one really knows the extent of, and she has been working with me on my recovery. I've been feeling much better and have been cleared to play, but she seems to have an issue with the amount of time I'm on the ice. She's been trying to convince me to take it easy and even suggested benching me for a few games to let my body rest. I told her I can manage it on my own and that I know my body better than she does. She knows I love hockey, but she doesn't seem to get that taking a break isn't an option for me. Things came to a head when we were traveling for an away game. I had been looking forward to the flight because it was a chance to finally have some peace and quiet. I always take up an entire row to myself for this exact reason. When I got on the plane, I was annoyed to see that she was sitting in the aisle seat of my row. I was pretty short with her, but she just said it was too late and she wouldn't leave the seat. The flight attendant came around and insisted I sit down next to her. The game that night was one of my best. We won the game and I got a shutout. After the game, I started thinking about the flight. I know it's silly, but I've always been a little superstitious. She was in my row when I had one of my best games of the season. I've now convinced myself that I need her to be with me on all flights going forward. When I talked to her about it, she gave me a look like I was crazy. She pointed out that I got mad at her for sitting in my row in the first place and that I couldn't just tell her what to do. Now she's calling me out for being an asshole, but I just think she doesn't get it. I know I shouldn't have gotten mad at her in the first place, but the team's success is on the line here. Am I the asshole?
That's Ilmari.
That is 100% Ilmari.
Pucking around.
I would never say you're the asshole.
No, but when you said therapist, it took me a second to get physical therapy.
I know.
too.
I know.
Yeah.
That was good.
I loved it.
I like it.
All right.
Next.
Okay, next. Am I the asshole for fake dating a colleague and not telling her I've secretly been in love with her for years? I, 34 male, am a professor at Stanford, and I'll admit I have a bit of a reputation. People say I'm intimidating, aloof, and cold, but I'm really just an introvert who's not great at small talk. A few years ago, a new grad student, 26 female, joined the biology department. She was brilliant, and I was immediately drawn to her. But she was a student and I was a professor. It would have been completely inappropriate to act on my feelings, so I just watched from a distance. I wanted to put like a creeper, but I did. Silently pining. She, on the other hand, didn't seem to notice me at all. Fast forward a few years, and she's still at Stanford. We haven't had much interaction, but I kept up with her work. A couple of weeks ago, I found her in the hallway trying to avoid her friend. She spontaneously panicked and kissed me to prove that she was, quote, dating someone. I went along with it, and then in a moment of, well, let's just say a moment of poor judgment, I proposed that we fake date. My reasoning was that it would be mutually beneficial. She needed to convince her friend that she was dating someone to move on, and I made up an excuse about needing to prove I was settled at Stanford. I also convinced myself that this was a way to get to know her better without making things awkward. Now we've been dating for a few weeks, quote, dating for a few weeks, and things have been going really well. She's just as amazing as I thought she was, and I'm finding myself falling for her even harder. But every time we have a moment, I feel like a liar. I know she thinks this is all a game, a convenient arrangement for both of us, but for me, it's a dream come true. So am I the asshole for fake dating a colleague and not telling her the real reason why I'm doing it? She doesn't know my real feelings, and I feel like a total jerk for not telling her the truth.
That's Ali Hazelwood.
Yes.
Is it Love Hypothesis?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one that
I
they're
love that book.
that's the one they're making the show or the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
And you know, the guy that is playing him is Daisy Ridley's husband.
Yeah.
And that is fan fiction for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I love
crazy.
it.
That's funny.
All right. Mine are long. Sorry, guys.
No, I love it. You're doing great.
I'm very
It's
verbose. All right. This one, again, you might get it, but you might not.
She pointed at Whitney and then.
Sorry. You guys know. I just know that Whitney's read this one, and I don't think you have, Deb.
Well, maybe this will convince me to read it.
It may be. All right. Am I the asshole for denying my girlfriend on live TV for a sponsorship deal? I, male 30, know I have a reputation. As an NHL player, they call me King of the Puck Bunnies, or the guy who's never serious about anyone. I've let people think that for years because honestly it was easier. It kept my life simple, and for a long time it was mostly true. Then my teammate's sister, female 25, came along. She's different. She's hilarious. She's got a mouth on her, and she challenges me at every turn. It took me a while and a whole lot of gifts. I'm talking everything from her favorite coffee to a giant beaver stuffed animal. But I finally got her to see that I'm serious about her. Things between us have been amazing. She's the only person I want to be around. Then my agent drops a bomb on me. There's this massive endorsement deal on the table, a huge one, the kind that can set me up for life. But there's a catch. The brand wants me to appear as a, quote, eligible bachelor, a public figure who isn't tied down. They think it'll appeal more to their target demographic. So, in an interview, when the host asks about my girlfriend, my mind goes blank. My agent's words are ringing in my ears, so instead of telling the truth, I make a joke and say something vague about her being a friend. I thought I could smooth it over later. It was just a few words, right? She saw the interview and she's furious. She's not answering my calls and she's told everyone to leave her alone. I've sent her a dozen bouquets of flowers and even a ridiculous singing telegram to her work, but nothing is working. She won't even look at me. She says I embarrassed her and that I chose a stupid deal over her. Am I the asshole for trying to secure my financial future, even if it meant being a jerk in the moment? I know I messed up, but I'm trying to fix it.
First of all, yes, he was.
He was total
First of
asshole.
all, yes.
I'm sitting here thinking outside of a romantic book, though. I'm like, please make the money.
Is it Helena Hunting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's Pucked. It's Alex.
The first
and
one,
Valerie.
When you
Violet.
first started, I thought it was Beat from Wreck the Halls.
Oh, yeah.
Who I almost did. We're going to be covering Green Flag characters in the next episode, and I almost did him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't even think
And
about that.
because, you know,
but he's so messed up.
he was so messed up because he liked edging. Those were great, Mindy. I really loved them.
Good job, Mindy.
Okay, my first book, neither of you have read, but I've told you a million times, and you're probably going to learn
Well,
some
that
things.
narrows it down to at least 502.
Yeah, and hopefully this will convince you to read this book, okay? Am I the asshole for falling in love with the king? I, 22-year-old female, have fallen in love with the king, 25-year-old male. Everything was going great, and he was falling in love with me too until he learned my secret. I was raised as an assassin and killed all of my sisters in order to stand at his side and get him to fall in love with me. My father has always planned on taking over the bridge on his land so that he could control trade. But once I met this king, I no longer wanted to be a part of my father's schemes. On top of that, a letter that was written with hidden ink was accidentally sent to my father, detailing to him how to infiltrate the bridge, putting the entire kingdom at risk. I have apologized profusely, joined in the battle against my father, and even swam with sharks to make sure the kingdom could stay safe. However, the love that the king had before me has vanished. I have proven myself committed to his kingdom and cannot even get him to look at me. Am I the asshole for following the orders I've been given my entire life and then accidentally falling in love?
Oh,
Is that the Bridge
I was
Kingdom?
going to say
It
the
is the
Bridge
Bridge Kingdom.
Danielle Jansen.
Yeah, Jensen. She's going to be at Imaginarium next year, which I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
excited about. I met her at a Polycon, and she's really, really great. But the Bridge Kingdom, I mean, it is like a really, really good series, and it's about to wrap up. So if you're one of those that don't like to read a complete
series, yeah.
yeah, I think this one you guys will know pretty quickly. Okay, all right, ready? Are you ready? Are you
I am,
ready?
yeah.
Okay. Am I the asshole for not telling my wife that we had met before? I, a 200-year-old male, have been traveling to surrounding kingdoms and conquering them in the name of my land. On the way to final negotiations with the land that I wanted to conquer, I ran into a woman, 25-year-old female, in the woods and had to save her from a supernatural creature. Upon drinking her blood, I realized that she is the reincarnation of a witch that I loved 200 years ago. I demanded marriage as a part of the negotiation and took her home to my kingdom. I have loved her as best as I can, even dropping the human woman that I have fed from for years. By the way, I'm a vampire. My new partner began to have
BT dubs.
my new partner began to have memories of her previous life and has figured out that I knew she was my reincarnated mate. Am I the asshole for expecting her to still love me?
Was King of Battle and Blood.
For sure. Yeah.
Noise.
I mean, when you put it that way, yeah.
You kind of are, sir. Yeah.
Okay, my final one. Am I the asshole for falling in love with my charge? I, a 400-year-old male, have fallen in love with the woman that I've kidnapped. My brother has been imprisoned by her kingdom for over 50 years, and I've done everything in my power to ensure his safe return. Upon looking for a bargaining chip with the queen that is holding my brother captive, I have learned of a chosen maiden, 18-year-old female, who is the queen's favorite. Over the last 2 years, I have infiltrated her guard, ensuring that the 2 previous guards died so that I could step into her head guard position.
Yeah, he did.
Upon doing this, I gained her trust and kidnapped her under the guise of taking her to a different kingdom. Sparks flew, and we even had some fun in the woods. Eventually, I fell in love with her and took her virginity, even knowing that she did not know who I really was. After being exposed as to who she thought was the villain in her story, I have tried to explain to her that everything she knows is a lie and that my feelings are real. Am I the asshole for still expecting her to marry me?
a little bit.
Just a smidge.
That's definitely from Blood and Ash.
Yeah, it is. When we came up with the "Am I the asshole?" He's the first one I thought of. Because I mean he did some horrendous shit.
Yeah,
He really did.
was.
That was the
asshole.
one. That was the one when I was voice dictating earlier that my daughter was like, "What book is that?" And here's the thing: she's read this book.
It is funny when you put it in these terms. You're like, yes,
You're like,
100%.
oh no,
But
is he a bad guy?
Characters that we love.
Yeah, they really are. They really are. So,
Well, that was fun.
That was fun.
Thanks, guys. I think me and Mindy were like, uh-oh, ours are bad. And then it was like, no, they're fine. It was good.
yeah, no, they were great.
Yay.
That's something we need to do every season. I think it was fun.
Yeah,
that
is
was fun.
I feel like we're on Delicious Dish. It was fun.
Yeah, that was great. Great job, everybody. That brings us to our nerdiest thing of the week. Mindy, will you start us off?
Sure. I have taken a break from my 52 book club challenge, sort of, because they brought out a summer challenge, and it is the coolest challenge. It's called the Connections Challenge. And so you pick a book, any book you want to start out with, and then each book beyond that has to connect to it in some way. So like after the first book, the second book,
Like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
kind of, yeah. So like the second book had to have one of the same words in the title as the first book, and then the next one's like was published the same year.
Oh, that's
so there's
cool.
all these different connections. It's super cool. I'm almost done with it, even though summer's over.
Technically, well,
So I think I have 3 more books left to finish the challenge, but I've been really what I've challenged myself extra to do is to only read books that were mostly on my physical TBR, but at least ones that have been in my, if I was not doing physical TBR, ones that have been in my Kindle for a while.
Yeah.
So I've like
got a lot
knocked
of
out,
those.
all in all, it'll be 21 books out of my TBR. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
Dang, girl.
I know.
Deb, what was your nerdiest thing this week?
So this week, part of our book club got to go watch Bryn Weaver speak. So it was really, really awesome. Unfortunately, she wasn't signing, but we all did get a copy of her new book, Taurus Season, which I talked about earlier. So
Nice.
really, really excited to dive into
was
that.
fun.
It was fun.
Well, my nerdiest thing is just being a Swiftie this week. I mean, honestly, I've been texting with friend of the podcast, Elle Mitchell, who is also a Swiftie. So it's just been fun. It's fun to text with Elle and be weirdo Swifties together. So
Elle
that's my
Mitchell's
nerdiest
so
thing.
great.
I know. I love her so much. So that is it for today. Be sure to listen to our Thursday episodes. We're talking about Throne of Glass. Check us out on our Patreon, patreon.com/Our Nerdiest Thing. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Like what you heard in this episode? Follow Our Nerdiest Thing on Instagram at instagram.com/Our Nerdiest Thing or Facebook at facebook.com/Our Nerdiest Thing. We love hearing from fellow nerds. Email us at ournerdiestthing@gmail.com.